Good evening and welcome in to sunny Charlottesville, Virginia for a pristine in-state matchup here between the Virginia Cavaliers hosting their in-state rival, the Virginia Tech Hokies. Should be a good one here on the final night of the regular season. Virginia Tech trying to come in and steal one away from their arch rivals. Virginia trying to cap off a perfect home season here at Klockner Stadium. Well, good evening and welcome into Klockner Stadium here in Charlottesville, Virginia. I'm Adam Hawes, joined by former Duke attackman David Keefe here in Charlottesville, and we're getting set for a very exciting in-state matchup between two arch-rival schools. And David, on the last night of the regular season, postseason on the minds of both of these teams, not only for the ACC tournament coming up this weekend, but also the NCAA tournament beyond that. Yeah, tonight there's a tremendous amount going on that has implications within the ACC in terms of regular season and also obviously the ACC tournament, where things stand, but so much of it also has to do with the NCAA rankings and how that's going to play out for the brackets in the NCAA tournament. Speaking of brackets, we get a look. If the season ended right now, this is how the ACC tournament would shake out. Virginia pretty much locked into that 4-5 game with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Regardless of the result here tonight, Virginia Tech hoping for a Clemson loss tonight against Pitt and trying to get into that first round by action. But let's focus on tonight's game, and let's focus on the visitors first. And David, Virginia Tech, such a stingy defense, and they're led, of course, by their freshman between the pipes. Yeah, stingy's the right word. Jocelyn Torres is a freshman, but she doesn't play like one. She's done a lot of huge saves in big moments. She's got great positioning. She really plays with a ton of composure against big teams. Carolina, JMU, BC, all close games, all because of her poise in the goal as a freshman. Great to watch, and anchoring that whole team. Hoping for a big night tonight, and on the other side, it's Virginia's offense, a three-headed monster led by Schwab, McGovern, and Clark. Yeah, all of them have over 50 points. Two have them over 60 points. Schwab's a distributor, but they're all goal scorers and passers. I mean, they can do anything on the field together as a unit, and they're very explosive. They know how to dodge, get open in the seams, and it's going to be really exciting. Should be a fun matchup tonight as we're just about set to get things going here from Klockner Stadium. Opening draw as we get set. Aubrey Williams for the Cavaliers, the best in school history, and then Sarah Gresham in the circle for Virginia Tech. Yeah, so best in school history as a junior. Yeah. Williams against Gresham, who's pretty good in her own right this season for the Hokies, as we are just about set here. Opening draw will end up with Clark as she breaks ahead now for Virginia's offense. Looking to get settled in out of the break here. And the Cavaliers will have the first possession here of the night. Yeah, I think in the beginning of these games, what I've seen in the ACC, especially the teams that are, I'd say, fairly evenly matched, is they do a lot of feeling out in the first 10 minutes. They're gonna try to really get a read on matchups, right? They're gonna look at, say, obviously what defense are they in? They're man-to-man, they in zone, but they're really gonna also look at where are my opportunities later in the game based on what I learned in the first 10 minutes of this game, of this quarter. Kiki Shaw now works it back outside. And that's Kate Miller on the wing. Now back to Rachel Clark, the super sophomore. She dodges in. The shot is deflected. The rebound chance is gathered up by the Hokies and Torres. Yeah, Jocelyn made a really good save there. She held her ground. That was the key. As Clark's moving down, she's losing her angle as she gets down to goal line extended. She loses her angle. Jocelyn stays in the goal, stays with her position, hugs the pipe, and makes it really difficult for Clark to get a good shot off, and she got a nice save. And now Virginia Tech will get into their offense here as Lizzie Lohr works it ahead and now gets it into the hands of Olivia Vergano, another one of those sensational sophomores this season in the ACC. Yeah, I've called a lot of the games this year for Virginia Tech, and I can tell you that she is a absolute spark plug. Love watching her play, and she really gets the team going, especially when they're down. So watch as things go. We know if they get down by a couple goals, she knows how to really rally the team. Abby Jansen in net tonight for Virginia, as Virginia Tech now still 39 seconds on that shot clock, trying to get something going here. On the Hokie side, Ella Rishko works her way, and now on the right wing, Vergano looking for an opening. Yeah, you're seeing Vergano and Rishko work a lot together, and Rishko is a great dodger, had 4 goals against BC, and she uses her body very well in order to... And looks like it was a rebound, and Virginia Tech celebrating, and it looks like they are going to score here.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like a rebound.
Shot was knocked away out of the cradle of Rishko there.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone thought it was a dead play, and except for one Virginia Tech player picked it up and threw it in.
So a little bit of a broken play there to start, but Virginia Tech gets the night's first goal, and we'll take a look at the replay here.
Yep, so there's Rishko. Once she gets her shoulders turned.
And so Vergano just came in on the ground ball there, turned and fired, and so she scores the first goal of the night.
I think they called, it looked like almost like a continuation play that they're allowing now, but they didn't throw, there was no penalty, so that's why that's actually a little bit strange.
I thought we were getting set up for a free position play. Instead, it's Virginia Tech 1, Virginia nothing here, and we'll go back to the draw here between Williams and Gresham for the Hokies.
Those two have been working a lot together really well, Vergano and Rishko. So, you know, it's a sophomore and a freshman. So if you think about that, you know, that's most of their scoring. This is a very young Virginia Tech team. So, you know, and that's why they've had, you know, some ups and some downs, because on certain days, you know, they've had, you know, some composure issues.
Top two scorers in points this season, Vergano with 51, Rishko with 38. And now back to the draw in the middle of the field here, Williams against Gresham. Both jockeying for position here. Virginia won the opener. Now the Hokies with a 1-0 lead here, trying to start things off on the right foot against their arch rival here at Klockner Stadium. And looks like the Hokies are going to get this one out of the draw, and they'll go on offense here as Vergano works it ahead.
Yeah, I mean, so that draw is going to be really interesting to watch, because you have a freshman in Gresham, who's they call Spidey. They think she's got sort of like a Spidey sense at the draw, but going against the all-time draw control, you know, leader in UVA, and can Gresham hold her composure throughout the whole game? That's going to be key.
Does have 100 draw control wins coming into tonight, as Virginia Tech works it behind the net here with Hannah Mardini, and now she works it back out once again to Rishko.
Yep.
Trying to dive in. The lefty Vergano wanted to get the shot off. Instead, she gets it into the middle. A ground ball opportunity here for Virginia as they try to fight for it. Who's it going to end up with? It looks like the Cavaliers have come away with the ball there.
Yeah, great defense. Nice checking down, really down low on the near the crease, and solid defense by the Cavaliers. Great job.
Nina Garfinkel escaped the pile there, and now Virginia will go into their offense as Kiki Shaw has it. Back out to Clark and over to McGovern. McGovern, season high, 7 goals this season here at Klockner, earlier this year against Clemson. And she scored a hat trick in each of her last 3 games as well. Just such a great goal scorer for this Virginia team. Here she goes now. Yep. Double team comes over, now recedes. They try to get it in the middle for Clark. She missed the pass though, and it ends up with Torres.
So one of the players to watch on the defense for Virginia Tech is number 17, Jordan Tilley. She's got the ball right now, and she's not only a great defender and takeaway artist, but she is responsible for a significant amount of their clearing. And last year they were over 90%, #1 in the country in clears. This year they're close to 90. But 17 has a lot to do with it, and it's sort of a thankless job, right? But she's amazing at it. Number 17 for Virginia Tech.
And Virginia Tech does clear. Now back to Rishko and Vergano back to behind the net. Claire Schott awaits for it. Now works it around. Back out to Rishko. Virginia Tech looking to take an early multi-goal lead here as Vergano tries to get to that left hand, but she's repelled by the Virginia defense. And now the double team comes, they knock it away, but that's going to be a penalty on Virginia.
Yeah, you know, it happened pretty far outside, so there's really no free position or shot opportunity here, but a lot of time on the clock.
30 seconds now on the shot clock for the Hokies. Behind the net, they try to get it in, but once again pushed back by Virginia's defense. Now they get it to Rishko. Trying to snake, she finds herself free with space. Shot goes off, no good. A little high above the bar there, but Virginia Tech retains possession.
Yeah, great use of her body.
And now another shot down low. Another miss.
Great use of Rishko's body in that last dodge, and she's really dangerous when she gets that going.
With 2 with 1, and great Virginia defense forces the shot clock to expire there without allowing a goal, and now they look to clear it here. They get it up ahead to 28 for Virginia. That's Maggie Bostaine. She gets it into the circle and now dumps it off to Rachel Clark, trying to find some space, but just pulls it back out instead. And another whistle from the referee here. 1-0 Virginia Tech here early in the first quarter. Virginia has not been able to find any sort of groove on the offensive end. And as we mentioned at the start of the broadcast, that Virginia Tech defense as advertised so far. And now we'll see if Virginia can find a goal here on a free position play with Jamie Biscup.
You know, it's interesting on the close game between Virginia Tech and BC. In the fourth quarter, Virginia Tech collapsed on free positions 4 times and forced bad shots. So that's not necessarily a given when you have a free position against Virginia Tech, just having watched them of how they executed against BC.
Virginia works it around here. And now a goal scored inside. That's Jamie Biscup getting the Cavaliers on the board here early.
Beautiful goal, beautiful goal. Waited for the right matchup. Got it, knew that there wasn't going to be a slide and just went for it from behind.
The equalizer from Biscup. That is goal number 30 on the season for her.
Yeah, you can see there's no slide coming. She knew it, and when she got a step and turned her shoulders, there's no way at that point that Jocelyn's going to save that because these are some of the best shooters in the country. Shoulders turned, shot down low, offside, actually stick side, but low off the hip. Really great shot. Nice goal.
30th goal in 16 games this season for Biscup. And now the Cavaliers tie it up. 1-1 here with 8:56 to go in the first quarter.
Yeah, I think that's the kind of possession that UVA wants to do, right? And they want to bring it down, find the right matchup, and just, you know, they're an older team. They have mostly juniors and sophomores and juniors and seniors, some grad students in there. That they don't have that kind of veteran on the Virginia Tech team. So that's the kind of possession I think they want. UVA wants to really be methodical and take, you know, as one of my coaches in the ACC that I talk to a lot, she says, value the ball. And that was a good example of that right there. They valued the ball. They got a great shot.
Rishko picks up the ground ball off of the draw, and so Virginia Tech goes back into their offense here. Hokies just with 1 shot tonight. They scored the first goal, and now Vergano looking for space, directing traffic from that top of the arc there. Now she dumps it back behind the net.
So they many times are going to run a pick with a post high, and then run Vergano off of it because she's got a great shot.
Getting inside, goes to the right hand and scores. The natural lefty goes offhand, finds a little bit of a space, and gets it in between the pipes there. And just like that, Virginia Tech retakes the lead 2-1.
Yeah, I think those were sort of similar kind of possessions. Vergano did the same thing as the last UVA possession. She waited, she found the right matchup, and then she, you know, knew that there was really very hard for any slide to be coming, and she went right to the cage. Watch her. Everything's clearing out right here onto the left, and there's no backup. So now all she has to do is bring it back and shoot.
And some great ambidexterity there from Vergano as she scores her first goal in tonight's game. Goal number 41 on the season for her. And the Hokies have 42 on the season, excuse me, with 2 tonight. And now, with 8:03 to go, the Cavaliers find themselves in a deficit while the Hokies have come out and played a strong start here, taking a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, a lot of Vergano's shots, actually, too, are horizontal. Like, she literally, you know, as she's shooting, she's going sideways and sometimes goes down to the ground. So she's doesn't have a conventional, you know, overhand shot. She's not that kind of shooter.
And it looks like Virginia's going to win the draw here as number 7 for them, Mackenzie Hoeg, is able to get to the ground ball there, and now Virginia goes on the offensive once again.
Yeah, Hoeg's a veteran player, you know, like McGovern. You know, these are, again, lot of really, you know, the players out there that have a lot of, you know, lacrosse IQ, that have very high lacrosse IQ. And if you see, you know, right now, they're looking for their opportunities.
Virginia has yet to get Ashlyn McGovern going, really. And now they work it around with Miller on the right wing there to Clark. She's able to snake inside, and looks like she is going to get checked there, and will earn herself a free position play.
Virginia Tech was calling for a charge, but I think that was clearly a foul.
Getting another look at it here. Clark.
Yeah, you know, she's got the right to, it's like basketball, she's got a right away kind of, you know, right to passage in there, and if you're not fully set, you're not going to get a charge.
And a goal scored by Rachel Clark on the free position play. Virginia's 44th free position goal this season. And the super sophomore Rachel Clark scores goal number 53 on the season.
Excellent. Excellent positioning on that. She brought it in. She knew exactly where she was going to place it. Almost impossible placement. You know, Jocelyn was not able to get down to that on the left offside hip. Down into the corner, and there she goes.
The equalizer from Clark. We'll step aside. Back in just a moment. Welcome back to Klockner Stadium. Rachel Clark scored the equalizer before the break. And David, both of these teams led by super sophomores, Clark for Virginia and then Vergano for Virginia Tech.
Yeah, Clark. So Clark is an amazing player, can do all dodging in between, getting open in seams, and has just an amazing ability to shoot righty or lefty. And Vergano is really she does a lot of sweep dodges, and she's a sniper. So she, you know, can come and sweep the ball lefty and ping the corner. And you should be, that's where you should be looking at those two kinds of sets or offensive plays from those two.
Once again, the opening draw here, and Williams in the circle going up against Gresham for the Hokies here. Virginia with 2 draw controls, Tech also with 2. And the first one after the break is picked up by Williams herself. And looks like we've got a check here. Referee blows the whistle, it'll be Virginia ball.
Yeah, that was a beautiful ground ball by Williams.
She hustles off after getting the ball to Kiki Shaw, and the triple team converges. She maintains possession, just gets rid of it there, but Virginia is going to maintain possession. Virginia Tech sideline not too happy about that call, it looks like.
Yeah, they had her tied up a little bit, and she saw a player try to get it down to her, but I think she was fouled, so they gave it back to her. And you know, she was fouled, so you know.
Gets it across the line there, and now Virginia settles in.
Yep.
64 on the shot clock here as they work it up top. Maureen Duffy swings it across now to McGovern, trying to find space, back to Shaw. Over to Miller, passes it inside. That was Morgan Schwab in the middle there, and it looks like she's going to pick up a foul.
Yep, that was a really very nice pass, threaded the needle.
Haven't seen much of Schwab tonight. She leads the Cavaliers in assists this season with 36, so really a distributor on this Virginia offense, finding McGovern and Clark, and now she's going to rip one, but a save by Torres.
Torres read it all the way.
And Kiki Shaw, a chance for a ground ball pickup here, and she's got it. Virginia Tech failed to clear it, but now another, and
Great
looks like it's going to be Virginia
chance
ball here.
Opportunity for Virginia. That was great redefend there for them.
And so now they will get back to the offense here as Jamie Biskup, who's got 1 goal tonight for the Cavaliers, works it ahead.
Yeah, so that last free position shot, I think she telegraphed it a little bit low to low, and you can't do that against Torres. You know, so you know she picks up on those things. You know, as they're shooting, so I think she probably would want that shot back.
Duffy loses it, and Virginia Tech picks up the ground ball there. That's Sydney Golini, who wins possession for the Hokies, and now she gets it up ahead to Vergano. Trying to make a decision there, back over to her attack mate in Rishko. And now Virginia Tech's offense will come onto the field, and they'll go into their offensive set. Rishko for the Hokies here. Goes to that right hand, trying to get it in. Slips, maintains possession though, and gets it across to a teammate behind the net.
You know, what games that I've seen Virginia Tech struggle is when they force the crease with passing. You're not seeing that tonight. They're really trying to focus mostly on their dodging and maintaining poise for their dodging, either trying to pick up a free position or get a good shot off.
And Vergano loses her defender. Shot gets off.
Beautiful save.
And a nice save by Jansen for the Cavaliers. And now the defense for Virginia wins back possession. We're still knotted up at 2 here, about 4.5 minutes to go in the first quarter of action here from Klockner Stadium.
Nice check by Virginia Tech to slow that break down a little bit. Let them get set up.
And now Shaw has it back to Duffy. And over to Clark here for the Cavaliers. Clark with 1 goal tonight on 2 shots. They get it inside to Biscup once again. She tries to find space. Shot goes high, but Virginia maintains possession. Schwab behind the net. And so now Schwab looking for a teammate, such a great distributor for this Virginia offense. And now the Cavaliers with Kiki Shaw gets it inside, back to Biscup behind the net.
You can see there's a lot of close-in players who are really watching, closing in, providing that adjacent slide very quickly.
Miller back for Virginia here. Prods, but ultimately pulls it back out. 15 on the shot clock here. We'll see if Rachel Clark makes something happen for the Hoos. She gets inside, shot goes wide, and Schwab picks it back up. Just 6 seconds to shoot, though, for the Cavaliers. And pass is picked off by Torres.
Smart play.
And so now Virginia Tech, with that stingy defense that we like to talk about, wins back possession here.
Yeah, so as a goal, I'm a goalie dad. You know, you look at plays like that, and you say to yourself, those are plays that have a lot of high lacrosse IQ, because she knew that she had to get it in that pass in and across the crease with 4 or 5 seconds. So good play there by Torres to be thinking about that.
Looked like Kate Miller was going to win possession back for Virginia, but instead it's the Hokies who win another ground ball. And now they get it into the crease. They're trying to get a shot off, and it looks like the referee calls a hold there. So that was number 45, Kayla Frank, on the break, trying to get the shot off, and now she will have a free position play here.
Yeah, it looks like she probably, with her stance right there, is going to pull out. I'm not sure she's going to go the whole, yeah, she's going to pull that out.
Pulls it out to Vergano here. 70 seconds on the shot clock. About 2.5 minutes to go here in this first quarter of action. In-state rivalry here at Klockner Stadium. Low-scoring affair so far, just 2 goals apiece.
O'Malley has the ball right now. She had 2 big goals against Duke to tie it and win it.
And now she lets one go here, but a nice save once again by Jansen.
Great save.
And now Virginia looks to push it up ahead. That's number 28, Maggie Bostain, who gets it over to Devin Whitaker. She's going to try to find her teammate in Kate Miller now.
We're seeing goalies come up big. You know, this is a punch counter punch kind of game. You know, rankings being being what they are. When you're in the ACC, any team can beat any other team, right? And so that, and especially with what's on the line here in Virginia tonight, with the Smithfield, Cup clash, and it's a big game.
And the goal scored inside. This time it's Mackenzie Hoeg who frees herself up in the middle and gives Virginia its first lead of the night. Goal number 32 on the season for Hoeg.
Yeah, so we're looking at this idea that great defense leads to offense, and when you really look at it, this was a real nice save. Probably she wanted a little bit better placement, but great reaction. Goes down the other way, and pinpoint passing. This is what they're known for, in finding the right player in on the crease. Beautiful shot. Nothing that goalie could do about it, but just great execution by UVA.
Clark picked up the assist there, and so Virginia with a narrow 3-2 lead, about 90 seconds remaining here in the first quarter of action. The Cavaliers take their first lead.
Yeah, and the problem is that Schwab, Clark, and McGovern all sort of deserve to be doubled, but you don't have enough players. So ultimately, you run out. The math work starts to take over, as I always say, right? And that's just what happened there. And they're good enough passers; they can move the ball much faster than the defender can slide.
And Williams picks it up here, tries to go over the top, and a nice snag by Hoeg, who just scored the goal for the Cavaliers. She is going to dump it off to Clark, and the Cavaliers secure possession out of the draw.
Yeah, it was a great draw.
4 draw controls to 2 in favor of the Cavaliers tonight so far. And now McGovern, Cavaliers back into their offense on the left side of the field here from Klockner Stadium. Great defense by the Hokies there. They're going to come away with a ground ball, it looks like, but another opportunity potentially, and it is going to be the Hokies who win back possession. Good defense there, and at the very least, they prevent the Cavaliers from going up a quick 2 goals after surrendering that last one to Hoeg.
Yeah, I mean that's what punch counter punch is all about. It's about you score, okay, we're gonna have a stop. You got to have a big stop and then try to even it up. So I think this game has all the indicators right now that this is going to be a close game. I think definitely into the second half because these two teams are all matched up right now pretty evenly.
Vergano trying to get to that left hand, gets it inside. Ground ball picked up by the Hoos and Whitaker. And now she looks to clear, and that'll be a check there called by the official. Virginia will maintain possession here. Looks like Rishko was the guilty party there for the Hokies.
Yeah, that was definitely a cross check.
And the Cavaliers are just going to run out the clock here. They take a 1-goal lead into the quarter break, and we've got 15 more minutes coming up. Cavaliers with a 3-2 lead over their in-state rival, the Virginia Tech Hokies. Virginia Tech got off to a 1-0 start. It was a little bit of a confusing play to start for the Hokies. Olivia Vergano ended up with her first goal, but if you take a look here, it was Rishko diving in, ball gets knocked away, she picked it up, but David, there was a whistle in the middle of the play there, but Vergano's goal still counted.
So it was continuation of play, basically, is what happened.
And then Virginia answers right back with Clark and Hoeg. That was the goal that put Virginia up 3-2, which is where we stand right now.
Yeah, so the first one was, the whistle happened quick. The Virginia Tech player picked it up very quickly, and it was continuation of play. It wasn't a penalty to sending anyone to the box. It was just like oftentimes you see in the middle of the field, there's a check, but they let them continue to play. That happened in a nanosecond right there. Whistle blew, someone picked up the ball, shot it, and went in.
See the scoring breakdown for both sides. Olivia Vergano, 2 goals for the Hokies. And Virginia spreading it around. Rachel Clark with a goal and an assist so far. The super sophomore and reigning ACC Freshman of the Year from 2022. Now we'll start the second quarter with the draw here. Teams will switch sides. And Williams and Gresham go once again. Ball up in the air. Batted over towards Virginia's side of the field, and Rachel Clark is going to pick this one up and pass it back up ahead to Williams.
Yeah, great athleticism there by Rachel. She's one of the best players in the nation, and then that means that she's able to find that ball off the draw and beat players with her athleticism and her lacrosse IQ. Beautiful play.
Tied for the team lead in points coming into tonight, so she's got the current lead with 63. McGovern also with 61 coming into tonight's contest, as Virginia with 60 seconds on their shot clock goes into their set here. And coming in from the right wing over to Miller. She's got some space, trying to get to that left hand, but doesn't get the shot off. Good defense repelling her by Virginia Tech. Now Hoeg back to Biskup, and once again Torres just gets her stick to one of those passes coming over the top there. Yeah,
it was great interception there. She'll get credit for that. And, you can't just throw the ball cross cage with Jocelyn Torres in there because she's watching, she's waiting, she's almost baiting for you. Sometimes they call those lazy passes, but you're just not even thinking that the goalie's going to come out and get it or try. And, there she is. So I think that's the kind of feeling out thing. I don't think that the UVA players are going to make that mistake too many more times.
We've seen it happen a couple of times so far now. So Cavaliers do lead in shots 7-6 and shots on goal 5-4. Both sides with 2 saves apiece. Both sides with 6 ground balls won. Virginia owning the draw, though, 5-2 on their draw controls tonight.
So Rishko's here, and she's going to bring it around the right side, always handing off to Vergano.
She loses the ball, though, and the ground ball eventually picked up by the Hoos there. It was repelled from the net by Jansen, and then I believe it was ultimately number 32, Nicole Crutherts, who came away with it for Virginia. She heads to her sideline. Virginia clears with relative ease here, and now back to the offense.
So, yeah, I think that Vergano normally doesn't get that close and tied up. She usually likes to have a sweep, somewhere a sweeping dodge higher up so she can free up her hands and take a stinger at the upper corner. But she's trying to dodge down low. Here's Clark. Boom.
Clark, upper 90 on that one. She goes right into that right-hand corner of the net and puts Virginia up by 2. 4-2 Cavaliers. Second goal for Rachel Clark tonight.
Yeah, that looked like a little bit of blown coverage because you can't cover Rachel Clark with just one player. The slide wasn't coming. Rachel sensed that, and she took her player to the goal, and then made a beautiful placement, you know, right up top, right away from Jocelyn's stick, and it was a awesome play. Here she comes in. She's going to come in, and she's going to make that dodge, and she's going to really use her body here. Left-right dodge, coming down, pulling around, and then placing it right upper corner.
Great juke there, losing the defender. Looks like that was Emma Monti, who got stuck in the turf there just a little bit. Cavaliers go up by 2, their largest lead here tonight. And now Virginia with Williams in the middle and the Hokies with Gresham. Hokies trying to get some possessions here. They trail by a couple of goals. And the ground ball picked up by Rishko here. But quickly,
a clear collision. Nothing definitely inadvertent in a way. You know, everyone's going after the ball, and those things happen, so refs let you play.
And now the Hokies will try to get something going after they took an early 2-1 lead here. They also scored the game's first goal, but a bit of a run here by the Cavaliers. They've taken a multi-goal lead. Hokies got to find some offense.
Yep. And interestingly, this is a Hokie team that's been down by 2 against JMU and come back, BC and come back, Carolina and come back. So this is sort of familiar territory. Let's see what they do.
Cavaliers have had early leads against some top competition this season, but have seen those slip away. Case in point against Boston College this past weekend. Tough team, obviously, but the Cavaliers did have an early lead in that one, so trying to hold on to it here as Vergano breaks in, left-hand shot, deflected away, but it looks like we will have a penalty there, and she should get another opportunity here. She ended up on the turf, and
I think it's might be a yellow card. Yeah, yellow card.
So Virginia Tech with a woman up here as we get a look at that last play.
Yeah, so left-right dodge, that's her shot. That's her swing shot, lefty shot. She wants probably to get a little bit more on it, but you can see she shoots off balance a lot of times. The goalie read it perfectly. She was on it, and, you know, but it was a cross-check. So let's see what she does right now. They might pull it out because they do have player up, but Vergano's got a great shot from free position, so let's see.
So 2-minute penalty, Virginia, as now Vergano gets set for her free position play here. She is going to pull it back out, and we'll see how the Hokies adjust with a player up here.
Yeah, that's pretty standard, you know, that even though the free positions are known to be high percentage shots, to have 2 minutes to work for the absolutely best shot is actually a better probability.
Trying to trade in a good shot for a great shot here, potentially on offense.
Yeah, so. And you see that a lot. I mean, believe me, Vergano would want to shoot that, but the coaches called a better play in this case. UVA comes up with a really big deflection there.
And the ground ball picked up once again by Crutherts And now she hands it back to Jansen. So the Cavaliers going to try and stall a little bit here if they can't find an obvious advantage. They do get it up ahead to Hoeg, and she clears it here. And now we've got a whistle, and it looks like Virginia will maintain possession here.
Yeah, and they're going to try to kill this right now. Penalty.
Still about a minute to go here. Virginia Tech playing a player up, but Virginia controls the ball right now. Playing a little stall here. They've got 56 seconds, so it just about lines up with the shot clock here. So I imagine we'll see a shot here right before they'll be back to full strength. As Miller.
Yeah, see, they've got an extra player, and they're just playing her in a sort of as a backer right now, and just to prevent anything from happening on the in terms of any kind of offensive play until it is even strength.
Just one goal by the Cavaliers here in the second quarter. Now Rachel Clark, she's got 2 of them tonight. Double teamed here, pulls it back out, now throws it back behind the net for Biscup. 13 on the shot clock, about 11 on the penalty kill here. Schwab tries to get it over the top, passes to Clark, tries to free up her stick for a shot, but it's knocked away by the Hokies. The penalty clock ends, and Virginia gets possession back. Great defense there, turning the Hokies over.
I've seen that now a couple times. Great second chance opportunities for the Cavs, pulling that one out. They lost the ball, but they pick it up. They get a fresh shot clock. Great play.
And so can Virginia ride the momentum further here? Looked like Virginia Tech was going to get a chance to cut it back to 1. Instead, Virginia kills the penalty, and a chance now on offense to go up by 3 and continue to stretch their largest lead. Rachel Clark has been making things happen tonight. She tries to get the shot off there. No dice, and Virginia Tech is going to win that one.
Yeah, so that's the 3rd time that they've been able to get sort of in the space of Rachel Clark without being called for a penalty. And that's really hard to do because, you know, Rachel Clark's very hard to defend with 2 players. But they've done it. So that's if you're playing on the Virginia Tech defense, you're pretty happy that you're containing her in that way on shots that she normally would be able to get off. That I don't think that'll happen the rest, all game. she just scores too much.
So
you have to limit her. It's not about if, it's about how many.
So the Hokies have been able to limit McGovern tonight, but Rachel Clark has really picked up the slack. And now an errant pass here goes out of bounds.
Yep. And
Virginia gets possession back. Hokies struggling on the offensive side. And so now Virginia on defense. Trying to get it up and clear it here.
In this game, interestingly, I think that was the first real, big turnover we've seen from either team. It's been a pretty clean game. We haven't seen a lot of sloppy play.
Right. Hokies have just struggled on the offensive end. They've not scored a goal since that first quarter with about 8 minutes to go. And now Virginia with Maureen Duffy out beyond the circle here. And now it's going to be McGovern. Can she get things going here? Virginia works it around. Back behind the net with Biscup.
Great ball movement. They're moving. They're trying to move the ball faster than the defenders can rotate.
Biscup tries to get it to Duffy, but the pass goes off her stick there. But Miller is there to pick it right back up. Still about 30 seconds here on the shot clock for Virginia. Back up top. That's Abby Manilang for the Cavaliers with the ball now. She sees the double team. Reels it back out. Now Rachel Clark jukes around a defender, but a save made by Torres.
Yeah, that right there, this is what I'm talking about big-time saves. You're one of the best players of the nation in Rachel Clark. Torres holds her position, sees the ball. She's really seeing the ball well in that regard. She does that a lot against a big-time players. And that allows them to really look at not having a 3-goal lead by Virginia right now. That's huge.
Timeout called on the field, and we'll step aside as well. Virginia up 4-2, about 6 minutes to go. Virginia with an early 4-2 lead here in the first half, and there's a look at the head coach for Virginia Tech, Kristen Skyra, in her 8th season as the head coach for Virginia Tech. And then there's Julie Myers, the longtime head coach of Virginia, now in her 28th season at the helm for the Cavaliers. So
yeah.
Old school versus new school here in the ACC tonight as Virginia Tech goes back on offense.
Yeah, actually, Kristen Skyra this is her 2nd year.
That's what I thought. It says 2021 here.
At Virginia Tech, and she came from Army, where she was 8 years at Army, I think. So that's, and she was at one point one of the top all-time leading scorers for Duke, going to a lot of Final Fours in the 2000s.
Hired in June of 2021 was Coach Skyra, trying to lead her team back to the postseason this year. They're down 4-2 here.
Yep.
And we've got a whistle, and it looks like Virginia Tech will be set up for a free position play here.
And Coach Myers, one of the best all-time leading coaches, all times.
Of course, won
amazing coach.
A national title as a player, assistant, and a head coach in her coaching career.
Yeah. A
legend here in Charlottesville. Now the Hokies, and the shot up and in. That was Kayla Rinaldi off the set play for Virginia. And that makes it a 1-goal game here. 4-3, Virginia still out in front with 5:40 to go.
Yeah, Kayla gets a lot of playing time, in sort of moments where, there's, she's not a reserve player, but she's not on the field all the time, but she is, they need to see some scoring from the bench, and she just did it, and that's what you really need. So good job for her. Those are the kind of opportunistic goals that you need to see. So you're spreading the scoring out, kind of thing.
5th goal of the season for her. First Hokie player not named Olivia Vergano to score a goal tonight, and it's a 1-goal game. And David, you mentioned those saves by Torres in the net, preventing some of those Virginia opportunities and not allowing this lead to get away from the Hokies. All of a sudden, it's a 1-goal game again.
Yeah, I just think that these two teams are they're playing for a lot, right? There's consequences in this game that will impact what happens in the NCAAs if they make it into the NCAAs. I think Virginia has definitely a better shot, but Virginia Tech must win this game. So there's a lot on the line for them. There's bragging rights in the state of Virginia. There's a tremendous amount. So I think it's going to be a very close game. I could be wrong, but we'll see. I think there's going to be a lot of punch, counter punch, and that's what I think it's going to be a fun game to continue to.
Well, that theory has held water tonight so far. 4-3, Virginia with the lead here.
Yep.
Now Virginia wins possession out of the draw after a bit of a lengthy transition period there, and now they go into their offense. Over to Miller. On the left side here, tries to get it in, and instead works it back out to Hoeg. McGovern, who's been quiet tonight for the Cavaliers, works it back, and Schwab now will distribute.
Yeah, you see that what great ball movement. They're moving the ball, everyone's touching it, and they're putting the passes, very, very, coordinated, moving it back and forth. Everyone, a lot of eyes on the ball.
Biscup tried to give that right hand, but the Hokies wouldn't allow it. Now they get it over to Clark. She loses the ball here, but that's going to be a whistle and a hold there on the Hokies. It looks like Sydney Goalie, the guilty party.
Yep. She doesn't have a great angle, but I've seen Rachel Clark score from all angles.
This will be quite impressive here. Let's see what happens.
She's going to pass it. Yeah, look, moving around.
And they get it to McGovern. She spins over the top. Shot is wide. And Miller had a chance to pick it back up, but instead the Hokies secure it.
That was a really decent play. I mean, they actually ran it. McGovern made it. Clark made a really nice pass, and they got off a good shot. It just they have a real collapsing defense on Virginia Tech, and they make those angles hard to really get it on the cage.
And now the Hokies are looking for the equalizer on the other hand. Under 4 minutes to go in the half here. And we'll see how Virginia Tech plays it Imagine we'll see a lot of Vergano and Rishko on the offensive end for the Hokies.
You know, it's interesting. Like I agree with you. And then when you're watching the game, but like it got down to the Virginia Tech Duke game, they put the ball in the stick of O'Malley, and she tied it up and then won it. So it's a weird thing, because you look at those two and you say they're the big powerhouses on offense, but there's a lot of scoring capability spread out around their offense. Here's Rishko, righty dodger. She's going to come in.
Couldn't get the shot up, waits a couple more seconds, instead passes, but what a save in net by Jansen. Ground ball still loose in the crease though, and Virginia gets possession back. So a nice shot there by Maura O'Malley, but a better save by Jansen, and Virginia holds the lead.
Yeah, so great save, great composure. It was right on her doorstep. She held her position, and she just matched stick for stick. It was really good stuff.
Now, can Virginia clear here? They'd like to take a 2-goal lead into half if they can find another one here. They get it to Schwab. She's the distributor of this offense. Back over to Biskup. And they work it around now. Good ball movement by the Hoos.
Yeah, so they're gonna continue to run those plays that are gonna try to eventually get it over to Rachel right here, or McGovern. And
McGovern to Clark, to Biskup. Her shot turned away.
I think the goalie Torres got a piece of that one. I'm not exactly sure.
Definitely deflected off of somebody in there.
It looked like it did. Maybe it came off a defender, but it hit something.
Virginia will maintain possession, though, as they've got 2 players behind the net. And now back out to Hoeg, to Schwab. Back to Hoeg, give and go, and Hoeg buries that one. Virginia goes up by 2 once again. Second goal by Hoeg. We'll take a look at it here.
Yeah, so that was a textbook give and go, backdoor cut. There was going to be no slide on that one because the defender didn't see the crafty backdoor cut. We'll show that in 1 second.
Cavalier band loving that one. Under 2 minutes to go, and here it is.
Yeah, here she comes. Beautiful spot feed right there, and the defender actually slips. Presence of mind by Hoeg to just keep going to the goal. And offside stick low, can't stop that. Beautiful placement and great shooting. Again, Virginia, a lot of great shooters on this team.
Schwab with the assist there, her 37th, 33rd goal of the season by Hoeg, and second here tonight. Virginia up 5-3, under 2 minutes to go.
And we always see an offense, good defense leads to offense, right? So that play really goes back to that save down in Virginia, right? That was a beautiful save. They move the ball up, gives them possession, and they turn that into offense. That's how it should work if you're in a groove.
Textbook draw control there by Virginia. Williams to Clark, and the Cavaliers may be thinking one more. Under 2 minutes to go here in the half. Kiki Shaw is going to dump it off to Hoeg here. McGovern still looking for her first point tonight, but the Cavaliers do have a 2-goal lead.
Yeah, they've been, Cavs have been disciplined, just chomping away.
Now McGovern, can she find a goal-scoring opportunity here? Saved by Torres, and that's going to be Virginia Tech ball.
I think that was dangerous follow-through. So basically, as she shot, it came through, and her stick hit the body of one of the defenders. Again, it's always inadvertent, but I think that was the explanation there. Kristen Schuyler loves to call timeouts. I don't know if this is a timeout or not.
Looks
green
like
card.
A green card there.
Yeah, so that was the delay of game.
McGovern, the guilty party there for the Cavaliers, as she talks with their head coach there.
Yeah, those are what I call administrative fouls, like delay of game. There's a number of them that go with the green card.
Hokies trying to pull within 1 minute with a player up here. They were not able to capitalize last time they had the advantage.
It's not what UVA wanted right now, because you really want a little bit more of a cushion, and if Virginia Tech was to score here, that's going to be a big momentum change. It'll give the Virginia Tech a little bit of oomph going into the locker room.
Shot clock is off as we wind things down here in the first half. Can the Hokies pull within 1?
So watch the left side of the screen. Watch Vergano. They're going to move the ball around a little bit, and then probably try to get it back to her on a sweep dodge where she would have an open lefty shot. But let's see what they do.
Grishko's got it under 20 seconds now. Pass over the top. And Vergano ended up with it.
Yep. I can't believe that pass got through. That went through like 4 sticks.
Quite the distribute behind the net there. Vergano's going to get a chance here. 14 seconds remaining. 3 seconds remaining for the player up for the Hokies. Shot up and in. Vergano drops the stick with authority. And that's a big one for the Hokies as we approach halftime. Here they're back to within 1.
Yeah, when she decides that she wants to score, it's really almost unstoppable in big moments. And I've seen this in a number of games this season. She really knows, how to take over the moment and actually deliver. I mean, I would call it like slugging percentage in baseball. But you're at bat, you got players on base, and you really need to hit a home run. You see here her upper body strength. She really didn't even wind that up. So that's all torsion in your hips, and that's just moving it with your wrists and snapping it. And that was that's a hard shot. That's probably going 85, 90 miles an hour.
Vergano with the hat trick now. 3rd goal of the night for her. And the Hokies pull within 1 with 11 seconds to go here in the first half.
But you can see how a green card, right, which is like, again, an administrative foul, delay of game, can cause a huge momentum shift.
A little bit of sloppy play by Virginia going into the half.
It's just, if you're the coach, you're like, come on, guys.
Can Virginia get off a quick one here potentially as Clark tries to track down the ground ball with 6, with 5, 4. Clark passes over to Williams, back to Schwab. She can't get the shot off in time. And so that is going to be the end of the first half here at Klockner Stadium. Fairly low scoring, but the Cavaliers take a 1-goal advantage into the locker room. 5-4 Virginia.
Yeah, this is definitely a game of punch, counterpunch. I keep saying that, but Virginia Tech has been involved in a lot of those games, and they know how to get good teams into the 4th quarter. We'll see if Virginia can pull away.
Final night of the regular season, Cavaliers lead 5-4 at home here over their in-state rival, Virginia Tech. The Cavalier faithful showing out tonight here at Klockner Stadium in Charlottesville, Virginia, for the Commonwealth clash here between the Hoos and the Hokies. In-state bragging rights on the line. 5-4 Virginia leads. Adam Hawes alongside former Duke attackman David Keefe. David, what did you notice from that first half of action? Just
following what we just talked about at halftime, I'm shocked at the number of times that both teams have been able to get, Vergano and Rachel Clark to check the ball out of their stick without fouling them to get the ball on the ground. You really don't see that. Normally, Rachel Clark, she's either going to get a goal or you're going to have to foul her to get a free position shot. Same with Vergano. So I think these defenses are playing actually very fundamentally well, and we've got a low-scoring game. If you are Virginia Tech, you want a low-scoring game, right? And if you are Virginia, you really want to go on a run right now, right? A famous Virginia Cavalier run. So let's see what happens.
There's a look at your first half stats. Shots and shots on goal favor Virginia. Virginia Tech, a few more turnovers, and Virginia dominating the draw 8-3, but Torres in net has been steady with 6 saves. And it's going to be Virginia off the opening draw the second half here as the Cavaliers win it. And we'll start with possession.
And a yellow card.
So they're going to start with a woman up as well.
Yeah.
So a big chance here for Virginia.
I believe. I saw. Let's see if someone goes to the box.
Looks like there is somebody from Virginia Tech, and there is a yellow card, I believe.
So that was on Hoeg. The foul was against Hoeg, hit her in the head.
And I believe Gresham heads to the penalty area there. So
that was Sarah. Yeah.
Virginia with a woman up here to start the second half, and a good opportunity, especially David, after they allowed that free position goal on what you said was the administrative foul just before the half there.
That's my term, yeah, for green cards. Yes, but this is not what Christian Schuyler wanted. You didn't. Yeah, the last one was a check to the head.
But Virginia, a little bit of a sloppy pass there. They'll maintain possession, though.
So I believe from a check to the head standpoint that this will be non-releasable, which is key.
So can Virginia take advantage here? Schwab to Biskup. She has a shot fake, but pulls back, and it looks like she'll get a free position play here as we get a look at the last penalty called on the Hokies, and a stick coming down right on top of Hoeg's head.
Right on her head. Now they're going to pull out because they're player up, and they're going to look for the best shot possible. I'm not sure if it is releasable, because normally they would try to get as many goals as they can if it's non-releasable. So the fact that they're playing right now just pulled that out. I think it was deemed a non-releasable, a releasable foul.
Minute left with a player up for Virginia. Clark swings it over to Biskup inside, and a goal scored. Looked like that time it was Taylor Mullen for the Cavaliers. She checks in with their first goal tonight, and Virginia capitalizes right off the bat with a player up goal.
Yeah, you don't. I mean, if you give that opportunity to a seasoned Virginia team, they're going to take advantage of it. And that was great passing, great, open cutting, and beautiful shooting right there.
Just the second goal of the season for Mullen.
Here we go. It's a bing, bang, boom. Move the ball around. You run out of players when you're player up. There she is. Beautiful backdoor cut. Puts the ball right past Jocelyn Torres. Great feed. And they practice this all week long. So, that's perfect execution, something they can almost do in their sleep.
So Virginia scores the first goal of the second half. Taylor Mullen, a rare goal scoring opportunity for her, but she capitalizes. And now Virginia's got a 2-goal lead. We'll see. Neither team was able to go on a run in that first half. Can Virginia start the second half with one here? Aubrey Williams has been good on the draw and controls tonight, and she immediately picks up another win there.
That was a textbook, beautiful draw. I mean, she's rewritten the record books here at Virginia, and wow, what a draw that was, and timely too.
The all-time leader in draw control wins at the University of Virginia, and also set the single-season record last season. So she knows what she's doing.
And I believe she's a junior, right?
I believe so.
So I mean, that's incredible.
Morgan Schwab behind the net here for the Cavaliers with 60 on the shot clock. Trying to find somebody dodging towards the net. Nobody takes her up on it, and now Virginia will work it back around to Clark, who backs things out. Looks for a lane here. She'll go one-on-one, but pulls it back out and gets it back to McGovern. Still haven't called McGovern's name tonight. Biskup tries to get it to Schwab. It looked like there was maybe a moment of indecision, and that threw both players off there.
And a deflection, however, no, okay, so penalty, cross-check probably, or inadvertent body check. I don't know if she's going to shoot it. Looks like, yeah, she is.
She rolls in and she scores. She beats Torres to the left side there, and the Cavaliers have put 2 on the board here in the first 3 minutes of action of the second half. Biskup with the score that time, the senior midfielder. Her 31st of the season, and the Cavaliers take their largest lead of the night at 7-4.
Yeah, the Hokies are, really need to understand, look at themselves from a composure standpoint, and really try to cap this run right now, because this is one of those run, third quarter runs happen, and then all of a sudden you're spending the whole fourth quarter trying to figure out, how to make up that deficit, depending on how big the run is. So right now, I think there's a lot of soul searching going on in the Virginia Tech defense. Trying to figure it out.
Coming to play here in the second half. She assisted on that last goal by Mullen and then scores herself. Second goal for her tonight and her 3rd point. Williams with 10 draw control wins for the Cavaliers here tonight. She picked up the first 2 of the half here so far. This time it's knocked backwards toward Virginia Tech's side. Ground ball picked up, though, by the Cavaliers.
Yeah, it was a great ground ball. Great clearing. And they're bringing it back.
Crouthards picked that one up there for Virginia.
Another yellow card.
And so another player up advantage for Virginia here. Rishko is called for that one. And so really feels like the start of a Virginia run here. David, they've scored the first 2 goals. Here's a look at that last call.
Yeah, I think that was, she was going for the stick. I can't really see how she definitely came close to the head. That's why they called it. Whether she make contact, that's the ref's job. I guess he determined that happened.
So Virginia, player up here once again. They were able to score on their first possession of the second half with an advantage. Now trying to go up and stretch their lead even further. Rachel Clark's got it for the Cavaliers, swings it over to McGovern.
Yep, they're being patient. They're going to just let the math take over. Eventually, they're going to move the ball faster and find that open player.
And Miller was able to snake through without losing the ball there, despite not getting up a shot. And they go back to Mackenzie Hoeg this time as she buries it in the net. Cavaliers go up 8-4 now, just about 3 minutes into this second half. All 3 goals scored by the Cavaliers here in the third quarter.
Yeah, so if I'm Coach Skyra, might want to have a little timeout and have a discussion, remind them what they talked about at halftime, and try to, like, you know, regroup a little bit mentally, because those unforced errors in terms of those penalties are killing them.
And a lot being placed on the Tech defense in this half so far. Very few scoring opportunities for the Hokies. As we get a look at the goal here, Schwab with another assist there, and Hoeg.
So they're mixing up right now. They've got Vergano on the draw, and Grisham is not on right now. So they're trying. I think Williams has been so dominant that they're trying something new.
Trying to get a different look here. And it looks like a procedure. And so Virginia Tech will win the draw here as Vergano gets the Hokies their first possession here the second half.
Yeah, I think that right there, the player just came very close to Vergano's head. I don't know why they didn't call that. And, you know, I like to see games called evenly back and forth, but that was very similar to the last call.
Can Virginia Tech respond here? They trail by 4, just about 3.5 minutes into this second half, but Rishko just loses the ball there, able to pick it back up though. Now swings it over.
Yeah, I think they're, you know, the offense is a little bit out of its sorts right now. Rishko's a big scorer for them when she's.
Now we've got a whistle. Looks like it's going to be on Virginia.
So I think they called 3 seconds, which is sort of a Virginia defender camping out in the crease for more than 3 seconds without a clear assignment.
Looks like the referee may have been pointing to Maggie Bostain there on the right side.
Yeah, defender.
Now O'Malley. And what a save by Jansen. Just took that one basically out of the stick of O'Malley.
Beautiful. I mean, she held on to it for a little bit too long, a little too cute with that one. All she needed to do was put it on the ground. You know, we know she knows how to shoot because she single-handedly won the game against Duke. But it was a great save by the goalie, who was very patient and followed that stick along, stick to stick. There she goes, boom. And that's what goalies have to do. They have to try to match where your stick is, their stick to where your stick's going to be, in order to make those kinds of saves that are really like within a nanosecond.
First save of the second half for Jansen. She's got 4 overall tonight and has been really good in net for the Cavaliers.
Saves like that, though, you know, are like momentum saves. Like, I think that save's worth like 4 saves, you know, because what did it do? It stopped Virginia Tech in their tracks. And it gives the ball back, right? And then the run continues.
And now Virginia a chance to pad their lead even more potentially. They've scored all 3 goals here after taking a 1-score lead into halftime. They now lead by 4. Duffy trying to free herself up, back out to Clark, who loses it momentarily but recollects. And now Miller back to Schwab behind the net, sort of that point guard role. This pass is to no one in particular, however. Ground ball, and it's picked up by Virginia. Clark under 10 to shoot now. She's going to do it herself, it looks like. Tries to get a shot off, but good defense by the Hokies. And now a ground ball still loose. The shot clock is going to expire, and Virginia Tech holds on that possession.
It was a good stop by Virginia Tech. They needed it. You know, they really needed it, and they need to try to figure out how to clear the ball with a really aggressive Virginia ride. But it looks like we might have a penalty.
And I think that might be on Miller.
Okay, so that's it. So If you would do anything to interfere with the pace of the game, like kick the ball or don't drop it right away, or then that's a green card.
Yep, reset the shot clock to
delayed
90.
game.
Yep, good.
And so she will head to the sideline for a minute here. A quick look at it, and Miller shoves that stick into her side there, and
But that wouldn't be for a green card.
so, regardless, Virginia Tech with a player up here for a minute. Last time Virginia committed one of those penalties, the Hokies were able to capitalize. Can they do so again? They've got to stop this Virginia run if they want to get back into it here now in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, they've been doubled up, but lacrosse is a game where you could score a lot of goals in a short amount of time. So what they need to do is think about this one at a time, composure, and just basically have this great save.
Great save by Jansen on the shot from Vergano, and a defensive stand by the Hoos.
Yeah. So Vergano had the shot she wanted, and she didn't get the placement she wanted, and the goalie made a really good save. So that combination, well done by UVA.
Second save of the second half now by Jansen.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than a hot goalie. If you know, I used to play attack, and I can tell you, there are some days where it just doesn't work for you against a hot goalie, and you know, they start believing, and then you're sort of toast at that point.
Virginia back up to full strength now. Under 8 minutes to go here in period number 3. It's been all Hoos here in the second half so far. 3 goals for the Cavaliers. Ashlyn McGovern now on the left wing. Can Virginia get her going? If they can, it may be good night for the visitors. As it stands now, though, near turnover, but Miller recollects for Virginia. Now Schwab behind that net, looking for an open teammate. She's got a few assists here tonight, but loses the ball. I don't think she realized it right away. Virginia Tech picks it right back up and goes with it towards the other end.
Yeah, we're seeing some good stops. The key is, can you convert it into offense, right? So you've got some ability for them to clear it right now, move it up the field, and Tilly's got the ball. She's their main clear agent. She's going to get the ball in and drop it off.
Trying to find a teammate here. Being hounded by Hoeg, and that is going to elicit a whistle and
yeah,
I believe a yellow card as well. So
that was a check
advantage
from behind that rode. It looks like it rode up her back a little bit and into the head.
Check to the head.
The referee says a check to the head there. So
yeah, I think it was one of those where there was she turned, it rode up a little bit and just kept going up the up her back. Let's see. Here she goes right here, and yeah, that was
that last
one. It was a double. She checked and then she did another check, and the second one was the one that sent her to the box.
So another opportunity for the Hokies with a player up here. Cavaliers were able to kill the 2-minute penalty in the first half. Can they do so again here? Virginia Tech needs a goal here to try to get momentum back.
Yeah, they need, right now Vergano's begging for the ball. She's jumping up and down, and because she wants to take that lefty shot.
They do get it to her, but the defense resets and she can't find a lane, so she'll swing it back over. Now Virginia Tech gets it into Rishko, and she goes right past Torres that time, or excuse me, Jansen for the Hoos, and she scores for the Hokies. 8-5 Virginia now with the lead, but Virginia Tech takes advantage of the player up, and they score.
And what you saw there was, they were over allocating resources to Vergano, right? And at a certain point, that left the freshman Rishko open, and that's the thing where when you have that kind of like mentality where there's a big player, you can't just single cover them. You have to double cover them.
So Rishko gets the Hokies on the board here in the second half, but Virginia still leads by 3. It's 8-5 Virginia here in the third quarter. Welcome back to Klockner Stadium here in Charlottesville, Virginia, an in-state matchup between Virginia and Virginia Tech. Adam Hawes alongside former Duke attackman David Keefe. David, we've been talking about the postseason a lot tonight on the final night of the regular season. Here's a glance at Virginia's resume. Maybe a little short on quality wins, although they do have that one over Notre Dame. Tonight, though, it's mostly just about holding serve and avoiding what you might consider a bad loss.
Yeah, exactly right. I think that if they win here, they definitely are in contention to be slotted into the NCAAs in a place that that they would want to be. But if they lose here, given how the brackets have been the last few years for the NCAAs, could be tough going for UVA. And for Virginia Tech, they absolutely need a win tonight, I believe, in order to be in there. You have Clemson, and Clemson picked up 4 ACC wins this year. So when you look at that right now, that is something that no one had factored in, and that's going to have a lot to do with who gets in and who doesn't. When you have a team that came out of nowhere and had 19 transfers and wins 4 ACC games.
Yeah, maybe the surprise of the conference this season. Virginia Tech at 3-5, Virginia at 5-3 in the conference. Virginia with a 3-goal lead here. Virginia Tech on offense, after they scored with a player up on their last possession going into the break. A chance now to potentially cut it back to a 2-goal game. And it was Rishko who scored the last goal for Virginia Tech. She's got the ball here for the Hokies. Spin move, tries to get it in, back out to Vergano. Getting to that left hand, but she can't find a lane. And now Virginia Tech will reset a bit. Vergano swinging it around. Blair Guy ended up with it. She's got it now. Back out, though. And Rishko finds it once again with 20 to shoot for the Hokies. Now back out. They get it to Kayla Frank at the top of the arc there. Back to Vergano. Can she free herself up? She's got 3 goals already tonight. Goes with the right hand, but another save by Jansen in the net. Yeah,
Jansen's coming up big, and she's seeing the release point of the ball from Vergano's stick on that one, and she read it perfectly. So if you get a good goalie and they could see where that ball's coming right off the stick early, and especially that was Vergano's weak hand. I mean, she can shoot hard both sides, but her lefty shot is a cannon. So I thought she was going to do a split dodge there and switch back over and then crank it lefty. Probably would have been a lot harder shot.
So Virginia holds on defense, and a chance now for them to match their largest lead tonight if they can find a goal here. Kiki Shaw works it over to Clark. She's been very busy tonight. And now she's got a goal-scoring opportunity here, and she puts it in the back of the net. Virginia responds on offense, and they stretch their lead back up to 4.
Yeah, she is one of the best vertical dodgers in the game. She knew that she had the ability to take the vertical dodge there, go in, bring her stick in, guard her stick, then bring it back out for the shot. And she had a single coverage on that. So, there really was a late, I don't even know where the slide was coming from, but you can't leave Rachel Clark up there to do a vertical, straight on alley dodge and just score like that. Here she is, she starts up, and she's going to then go right in, boom, vertical. And, there's nothing the goalie can really do about it. And she got a huge step on her defender.
Third goal of the night for Clark.
Pretty much automatic for Clark. And again, she's one of the best players in the country.
You saw that stat. She's now tied for the team lead and tied for 5th in the NCAA with her 55th goal of the season. And Virginia leads 9-5. And once again, well, I should say, Virginia Tech actually wins this one. Thought Clark was going to be able to step in there, but a nice play by Kayla Frank of the Hokies, yep, and they win the draw.
That was a nice play. I think, if you compare the shot selection of Rachel Clark against the shot selection of Vergano, and we've been talking about those two as head-to-head matchups, I'd say Rachel Clark's shots today are better than Vergano's. They're on goal, and they're basically, the kind of shot that they look for. Like Rachel Clark knows what kind of shot she wants, and she takes it.
Rishko tried to get to her shooting hand there, but passes it back out instead. Virginia Tech trying to match goal for goal here, but they've got to start a run eventually if they want to get back in this one.
Yeah, if they could look to switch lefty
Vergano gets in and she scores. Just a great individual effort there.
Yeah.
And she was able to beat Jansen for that one. So suddenly a flurry of goals here by both sides.
Yep.
9-6 the Cavalier lead, but the Hokies are starting to find their rhythm now.
So on that last goal, you know, she basically came around her strong side lefty, baited folks that she was going to shoot lefty, and then was able to really, in a slippery way, look, she comes in, baits them, she's going to shoot lefty, and slides it back in, and shoots basically cross-handed, somewhat like, you know, boxer Canadian style. We call that a Twizzler.
I call it a great shot there for her. 6-9.
Yeah.
That's her 4th goal of the evening, by the way. Number 44 on the year for Vergano.
One of my teammates, Keith Malchione, used to shoot like that all the time as a defender, but if you get brought down the field, his daughter actually plays for UVA. And he used to shoot like that all the time with the Twizzler.
And as you mentioned, his daughter, Chase Malchione, a freshman attack for this Virginia team. Now back to the draw here. Vergano has changed up the rhythm a little bit. She's got one draw control win since she's been put into that spot. Williams was dominating early, and a chance now for her, and she will win this one. So Virginia back to offense here after conceding the goal to the Hokies. Can they match once again? They were able to a couple of possessions ago with about 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the quarter here. Virginia has led for much of the way outside of an early Virginia Tech lead. Cavaliers scored the first few goals of the second half here, but Virginia Tech has been able to find the back of the net. Virginia leads in shots, 18-14, and shots on goal, 15-12. Both goalies playing well, though, with 6 saves apiece.
Yeah, no, the goalies are making great stops.
Clark gets it into Schwab, and she finds the back of the net that time. So, usually you'll see it go the other way, but this time, Schwab finishes that one, and Virginia answers right back. Morgan Schwab scores that one for the Cavaliers with 2:11 to go. 18th goal for her this season.
Beautiful play, tight passing, right? Tight passing, and the presence of mind to come around the goal, find the player, and there she is, really tight passing. You see it almost got picked off, and you know, that's just a great, this is like muscle memory for these players. They know exactly where each other's going to be. That was almost like a spot feed. She came around, she got it, and boom, puts it right in the goal. Nothing really the goalie could do about it. You know, those are right on the doorstep. So great offensive play. You got to credit to the offense.
So Clark to Schwab that time. Schwab's 18th goal of the season, Clark's 11th assist. And Virginia once again answers a Virginia Tech goal here in the 3rd quarter. They were able to win that draw, a big reason why, and now they win it here once again. Hoeg sweeps in to pick up the ground ball, gets it over to Clark. She's hounded by a couple of defenders, but a whistle, and Virginia will set things up. And it looks like we've got another yellow card here, and Virginia Tech will be playing a woman down.
Yeah, that's a frustration call right there. I mean, a frustration foul, excuse me, and not timely, you know, for the effort of the Virginia Tech Hokies.
Kayla Frank heads to the sideline that time after picking up the yellow card. So, with 2 minutes exactly to go in the quarter here, final 2 minutes, Virginia will be playing a player up. They've been good on the advantage here tonight with a couple of goals in a couple of chances. Can they make it 3 for 3?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I've noticed with Virginia is they have very, very few turnovers. You know, they're playing really disciplined lacrosse, and that's what you want to be playing when you get into April, as you go into the tournaments, the ACC and NCAA. So that's the thing. Like, you know, I don't really know exactly if we got it up there, but we can actually see what kind of turnover between both teams. But they're both at 9. But you know, I think that the ones that Virginia has made have really not been that costly.
Not coming at key moments,
yeah, exactly,
in possession. As they work it around here, Clark tries to get it to McGovern.
Just as I'm saying. Just as maybe I should stop
sloppy play there. They do maintain possession, though, so.
No turnover. That was funny.
About 34, and this time it's going to be Miller. who gets inside and scores it past Torres. The Virginia offense starting to hum a little bit now, and Miller scores that one for the Hoos.
Yeah, this is the run that we're talking about. Coach Sky was going to take a timeout here, but this is the how do you then go into the fourth quarter and make up this deficit when you've basically almost been doubled up, but it's, you know, in the 11-12 range. So it's a tough proposition.
Costly penalty there for Virginia Tech as we take a look at the replay here.
Yeah, more tight passing, right? You know, they're taking risks, but those are smart risks. Really good play to stay out of the crease, and just nice player placement of the ball. I think, you know, there's a point at which when you're on an offensive unit and it's clicking, you just feel it, and you're taking risks, and people are there, and they're catching impossible passes, putting it right where you need to, you know, where it needs to be, and that's the groove right now that I'm seeing from the Cavaliers.
15th goal of the season for Kate Miller after she scores that one. Another assist for Morgan Schwab. That's her third of the night, David. She's really been making things happen, distributing the ball as she has all season. And I actually just got word that they're looking at that last goal by Miller.
Which could be, did she go follow through into the crease? That would probably be what it is.
It looked like she was trying to keep her momentum from crossing that line. And so we may not have a 5-goal Virginia lead here as we continue to take a look at it here. But even so, David, just the Virginia offense has done a really good job when they've had the extra woman up advantage.
Yeah, and you know, definitely their percentages, because they're poised, right? And they're really running it well. But here's the other thing. When you have the ball at this end of the field, meaning down UVA has the ball, Vergano doesn't have it. So, you know, your offense can go stale. Your offense can go cold, right? And then now there's a sense of urgency, because as the more clock runs down, and the bigger the lead gets, and the more cold your offense is, it can be a really bad cocktail combination.
And so, still waiting on official word on that last goal. As it stands right now, it's 11-6 Cavaliers as they take their biggest lead here of the night with 101. And we've got the official look here. Miller trying to keep those toes out of the crease.
So, but the key thing is, was she in the crease at the ball? Has it passed the plane of the goal? And that's the key thing. So I guess they have counted it because the ball had crossed the plane of the goal before she went into the crease.
So as it stands, an 11-6 Virginia lead, and we go back to midfield for the draw. Williams has found a really nice rhythm here in the second half and nearly picks that one up, but instead Rishko, and it looks like she got tangled up with a Cavalier there, but the Hokies will win it.
Yeah, Rishko, you know, she's one of my favorite players to watch because she's a freshman and she's pretty much fearless. In the beginning of the season, she wasn't scoring as much, and then she had a breakout game against BC and 4 goals. I think she started to really believe in herself. Let's see what she and Vergano and the rest of the team can do in the going into the fourth quarter.
Rishko, the freshman from Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. And not sure if that was a shot or a pass off the stick there, but regardless, Virginia Tech maintains possession. And now they get it over to O'Malley. Back to Rishko behind the net. 12 seconds to get a shot up here for the Hokies before the end of quarter horn. Rishko gets it with the left hand. It goes by the goal. Hokies maintain possession, but just 2 with 1. And that will end the third quarter of action. Big run by the Cavaliers here. 11-6 Virginia. Cavaliers outscore the Hokies 6-2. And we'll head in to the final period of action right after this. Welcome back to Klockner Stadium here at Charlottesville, Virginia. Adam Hawes alongside former Duke attackman David Keefe. A big run for Virginia there. They outscore the Hokies 6-2 in the third quarter. David, the offense getting it done for Virginia.
Yeah, we talked about it. They have 3 players that are 60 points. 2 of them are 60-point players. One's a 53-point player going into this game. And that happens when you know how to move the ball, or you know how to cut into the seams, find the open players, and then make pinpoint passes and amazing, sniper shots. And that's what they do. But they do it all within a very contained space. Virginia does. So, they did this they had a pretty good game against Syracuse in the first half and into the second half, and they were really operating in that level when I watched that game. And so, they can do it, and they're doing it tonight.
Third quarter summary there on your screen. Virginia wins the draw controls 5-3. 3 saves for Jansen in net. None that quarter for Torres. Maybe a little surprising stat there. And how about the Cavaliers offense? 4 assists on 4 goals in that quarter.
Yeah, if you're a coach, you love that. You want to see assisted goals. At a certain point, if everything's unassisted, you will run up against a defense who can mark that player, right? So you really want to see a lot of assisted goals in a ball game. There's Tilly again. She's an absolute defensive, juggernaut, and she is responsible for a lot of their clearing. So let's see what she does.
Good win by Virginia Tech to open up the quarter. If they're going to try to get back into it, they need the ball on offense. And here goes Tilly once again.
Yeah, she's going to go to the wide side of the field and just bring it down. And literally, it's like she is their clearing machine.
Single-handedly doing it that time.
Yep. So here's O'Malley. She's going to bring it in. And I think Kristen Skyra probably talked to them about poise and being, 1 goal at a time kind of thing. This is dangerous right here.
And Rishko loses her defender and snipes that one in. Great goal. Rishko pulls the Hokies back to within 4.
Where Vergano has her sweep dodge and has a lefty sniper shot upper corner, that Rishko's whole bread and butter is a dodge, it's sort of what we call like a bull dodge. She leans in. If she gets that shoulder wrapped around you, she's already wound up her midsection to crank it. So here she is, right here. She's going to get her shoulder in, and now she's going to crank it. And there's not much you can do about it. And the goalie does not really see the full release of the ball. So the goalie's sitting there looking at the dodge. They see the player. Sometimes the defender acts as a screen, and she's able to whip that around. For much of the release of the ball, it's hidden from the goalie until it's too late. So, and it's going at about 85 miles an hour. So, that's not an easy. But she's a freshman. Watching her play, she comes up with big goals.
35 goals on the season as a freshman. And maybe a critical one there. 11-7 now, Virginia with the lead. But they've had an answer for every Virginia Tech goal here in the second half. Virginia Tech has not been able to string many together tonight. Draw up in the air, and it looks like it's won once again by Virginia Tech. So the change in the center has paid off so far for Virginia Tech.
Yep, and here she is again, Rishko. So if she sees that she's got single coverage, she's going to probably be given permission to go. Because once you have like a matchup like that, and you score, you want to try it again until they keep doing it until they stop you, until they adjust. So. That's why this game is all about matchups. In the first quarter, you're really feeling those out. O'Malley, she has the same thing, same kind of dodge, but she didn't get the extra step on her player right there that Rishko did. So she pulled it out smartly, and they're trying to be judicious about passing the ball around. They cannot afford any turnovers. Again, shot.
Rishko trying to do the same thing once again, spins back and goes to her left instead, misses the net, but right there for the backup, another Hokie.
I thought she was going to probably put on the ground on that one, but not the case. But look, she likes this matchup. She likes what she's been doing. She's going to try to get it again. And they're face guarding Vergano right here. So that's something.
Can't find a lane for the shot.
Yeah, shooting space. So in that play right there, there was 3 players that really converged on her. There had to have been some level of shooting space once she sort of turned to try to at least mock a shot or take a shot. And now she's center hash. This is not what UVA wants if you're the goalie.
And you have to think she's probably looking to bury one right here. She goes, misses it wide, and a nice pickup behind the net there by the Cavaliers.
Great backup right there, great backup.
And so they get it off to Jansen, and now Virginia's looking to clear here.
Yeah, that was a really smart, heady play by the Cavs. Backup on that.
Bostain trying to go all the way, but a whistle blows, and we'll have a set play here. Here's a look at the last play on the other end of the field. Vergano.
Yeah, so she sort of shot off her back foot. Didn't get a lot of power, and wasn't the kind of placement that she normally likes to put on a goalie there. She's usually going for the corners. So I'd have to say she wants that shot back.
Virginia Tech does win the ball back now, and O'Malley calls for it, gets it, now splits a couple of defenders.
No one's picking her up.
And she pass fakes, dumps it off Vergano to that left hand, and she'll have another opportunity here.
From the side, importantly from the side she loves to shoot from. So this is actually going to give her a better angle than the last shot, because she has no one converging on her, really on her stick side, so she can get in there.
Free position play here for Vergano once again. Steps in and goes low this time and puts it in the back of the net. Rishko and Vergano, back-to-back goals for Virginia Tech here in the fourth quarter. And now the Hokies maybe starting a little bit of a comeback here. They trailed by 5 at the start of the quarter. Now it's down to 3.
Right. And, you know, so this is the same game I watched this year and called against JMU. The same thing against Carolina and the same thing against BC. Down by a few goals. In this case, we're 3, but some of them were 4, and got within 2, right? In all of those games. So, you know, this is a team, the Virginia Tech team is not going to give up.
And they have shown no quit, especially Vergano scores her 5th goal of the night. And now it's just a 3-goal game. And Vergano has also been good here in the fourth quarter in the center draw, beating Williams a couple of times. And a chance now potentially with another win here. Virginia Tech could really seize momentum here in the fourth.
Yeah, the interesting thing about runs, you know, I was having this discussion with one of my coaching friends the other day.
Williams is going to be able to pick up the ground ball, though.
Is it, you know, you exhaust a lot of energy going on a run. So for Virginia, you know, they went on a big run, and, you know, runs are answered many times because you run out of a little bit of gas, and then the other team responds with their own, right? So that there could be some of that right now, and you know, you just got to try to then manage these runs as best they can.
Well, a goal here for Virginia would really feel good to go back up by 4. They've got it on the offensive end after a win in the center draw for Williams, and now Virginia goes to work. Kiki Shaw has it, and Virginia is going to let her go ISO. Left-hand shot is in.
Beautiful.
Kiki Shaw making things happen there. She went straight from that top of the arc there and did it herself. And now Virginia back up by 4.
Yeah, so that was a beautiful, she got a step on her player. It looked like they were just guarding her and saying, you know, we're going to guard you with single coverage. And she said, okay, fine. I'm going to do a vertical dodge. She did a little bit of kick. She got a step right here. And then she beautiful placement right over Jocelyn Torres' stick. And you'll see here, she really was able to shoot cross cage and put it right in there. Beautiful play. And a great presence of mind to keep going on her dodge. She had a lot of pressure on her. She could have given up on that dodge, but she didn't. She actually got her hands loose and made a beautiful shot.
17th goal of the season for Kiki Shaw, the midfielder for Julie Myers' club. And now Virginia leads 12-8. So a response from Virginia.
That was a big goal.
11:17 to go in the game here. It was a tightly contested first half. Virginia went on a 6-2 run in the third quarter. Virginia Tech a couple of goals to start the fourth here, but Virginia responds now. And a ground ball, still loose, and Virginia Tech closest to the sideline. Oh, excuse me, no, it's going to be Virginia ball.
Yeah, deflection off of Virginia Tech player, they're calling.
And so Virginia gets it. Now they're looking to clear and get back into their offense. Shaw runs ahead, and she'll clear it herself. The goal scorer last time for Virginia. Now back to Schwab. Back to McGovern. And Shaw once again working things around to Clark, who's had a major impact on tonight's game. She's going to go herself. Thought about splitting a couple of defenders, pulls it back out. McGovern an opportunity now. She pulls it out once again, and Kiki Shaw's got it. Virginia settles back in.
Yeah, you know, they're playing discipline. They're working for the best, most high probability shot that they can, and they've been doing that all night. You know, it's allowing them to protect this lead.
And a rare miscue there, but Virginia does pick it back up with Hoeg, who gets it back to Clark. Now to Miller. She's got one goal tonight. Back to behind the net with Schwab. Under 30 seconds to go. Schwab puts a spin move on, but can't shake the defender. Good individual defense there by Virginia Tech and Mary Griffin. Now Virginia goes back to Shaw. She's trying to get a step. Shot up, but deflected. And that's going to be a whistle on the Hokies.
Yeah, she drew a push. Well, I don't know if it was a cross check, but it's definitely a push. And she doesn't have a great angle there with her stick in her right hand. So I think they will, with the lead they have, I think they'll pull it out right now. 16, I'm not sure.
On the shot clock
Tilly's a great defender. She's right next to her. Nope, she's
Shaw is going to break in. Left-hand shot up, no good. Ground ball picked up by Hoeg. And a reset here for Virginia.
Yeah, that was a high-risk play. I mean, she just scored, so sometimes, you know, just keep going for it. And she's you know, a really great player, but that was really hard to get it in on a good goalie like Jocelyn.
Now Clark with the juke and the score. Shakes her defender and puts it in the back of the net. Virginia back up 5.
And that's much more of a high probability shot, right? You know, when you're trying to sneak it in there on that free position, Kiki did it. She almost got it. Goalie came up with a big save. But what do? They get a reset, they come back, and then they get the high probability shot.
6th in the country, Rachel Clark passes Ashlyn McGovern, 56th goal this season. And here's a look at the play.
Yeah, vertical dodge, same thing. I mean, she owns that. It's called an alley dodge, vertical dodge, and then she brings it past, blows it right past Jocelyn's stick. I bet she wants that one back. But at that point, when you have Rachel Clark, you know, crashing in on you, that's a pretty tough save.
We'll step aside. Virginia back up 5. Virginia goes back up by 5 before the break. And taking a look at Virginia's leading scorers tonight, David, maybe interestingly, their leading scorer on the night, Ashlyn McGovern, no points, and Virginia still with a 5-goal lead.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that's, you know, that they're spending so much time and resources on her that frees up all the other players. So I think that you know, that can happen if you're in any offense where everyone can score. You know, I believe that Ashlyn is now on the Tewaaraton top 25 something. You know,
that's correct. Yeah,
right.
Just named today, actually.
So you're scouting her, right? You're putting a lot of resources on her, and that leaves other players the opportunity to get in the play, be open, and you know, and score. And that's what I think what you're seeing there. Her presence on the field is something that, you know, causes other people to be able to get on the board more often.
Virginia Tech on offense here. Now down 5 once again, and under 10 minutes to go. They need a lot of goals in a short amount of time here. And Vergano has been the heavy hitter with 5 tonight. Rishko with a shot that time, but it's turned away.
Yeah, she probably a little bit too far out, but they need goals. So I think their coach probably said, you know, take the good shots if you got them, because we won't score any goals unless we shoot.
And now Virginia goes all the way to the other end. Duffy tries to dump it off to McGovern, but a little bit of a high pass there. Morgan Schwab tries to chase it down. Ball out of bounds and picked up by the Hokies.
That could have been a really nice goal. It was a nice look. Just a deflection off the stick.
And now a ball on the ground, but picked right back up by Virginia Tech. They'll hold on to it here. Under 8 to go now, and Virginia Tech looking for some offense, looking for a big road win against a top 25 team. Virginia ranked 11th in the country. as they go working behind the net now. That's Hannah Mardini.
Yeah, they definitely need to get the ball in the number 4's stick.
They got it here, and coming across the center and scoring that time. I believe that was Caroline Little, the freshman, on the score there, and Virginia Tech back to within 4.
Yeah, that was, all the offense, usually goes through Rishko and through Vergano. So, if you've got 7-8 minutes left, you got to go with what's been keeping you in a lot of these games.
Caroline Little there, 5th goal of the season for the true freshman, and here's another look at that last goal by Virginia Tech.
Yeah, just a smart. The player got open. Vergano saw her, and she had a step and just took an off-balance sort of fadeaway shot. She left her feet, and just beautiful placement.
So if Virginia Tech is going to get back into this one, that's a good start for them. Now the key has been stopping Virginia's answers. Rarely has Virginia Tech scored without Virginia answering right back in tonight's contest. Vergano and Williams back to the center for the draw.
Yeah, and if I look back on this game right now, I think Virginia Tech definitely is not out of it, but I think the difference thus far in the game was the penalties in the 3rd quarter. Those enabled the run that allowed for it to be a 3-goal run versus our 6-goal run.
Rishko picks up the ground ball. Now she's thinking goal scoring opportunity before she has to pull it back out. Gets it over to Vergano. Tech goes into their offensive set here. Virginia just trying to hold on at this point. Under 7 minutes to go now here from Klockner Stadium. An in-state Commonwealth matchup here. Bragging rights and points in the overall series across all athletics between these two teams up for grabs tonight as Vergano tries to get to that left hand, but gives it off to Rishko.
Yeah, so that was, that sweep right there is pretty common. She's going to do that because when she dumps it off, it goes to Rishko's strong hand, which is her right hand. She's going to try to turn, maybe get doubled, and go back.
Good defense, though, there by Kiki Shaw to keep her out of the middle there. Now Virginia Tech goes behind the net. Long pass, connects with Rishko once again.
Here she goes. She's going to come back to her right. Look for Vergano's on her left.
Trying to get to that strong hand. Instead, she's able to get closer to the net, but the shot goes wide. Virginia Tech there for the backup, though.
Yeah, so they're going to keep running that because that's their bread and butter, the right-left inter-exchange between these two right here, Rishko and Vergano. That looks like a foul to me.
3 with 2. Shot goes up from the left wing there, and that was Paige Tyson on the shot, but we've got a whistle, and I think we'll have a free position play here. 0 is on the shot clock, so I think the Virginia sideline is saying, what's the protocol here?
Well, the whistle did blow. I think the whistle blew when play was still in, when it was still in play.
Officials come together here.
They can tell. They can play it back and listen to the audio if they need to. It seemed like it was.
Barbara Allman, Mike Miller, Barb DiArcangelo, and Kristen Thurman, the officiating crew tonight. With 5:41 to go here. And so now we'll have an explanation come to the center here. I think they're looking at how much time to put on the shot clock here. Because as you mentioned, David, the whistle blew before it hit 0. And we'll get a look at that last play. Shot clock down in the left-hand corner there.
Right, so you have a whistle.
Looks like 3 seconds when that shot is released there. So I imagine that's what we'll get here.
The whistle kills the play at that point. So,
and they're actually just going to put 1 second back on the clock, it looks like. So
then they're judging it when the ball went out of bounds, maybe. No, I think it's probably it should have been in 3. Who cares? But it should have been in 3 seconds.
So really just a shot opportunity here for Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
Paige Tyson gonna throw it, and she scores. How about that? With 1 second on the shot clock, Paige Tyson buries that one there. And I think we're going to have to go to the monitor here to ensure that she got it off before that shot clock sounded.
Well, a free position, she should have the right to take the shot, because if, for example, you get a call, like a foul with 1 second left at the end of the game, they let you take that shot, right? So I don't know that that is actually a valid call.
Official went over back to the center table there at midfield. As we get another look at it here, it looked like the clock actually started before Tyson even started her motion. So that may have just been an error on the clock operator's part, and we may get a reset here.
Oh, they shouldn't.
And I think if you're the Hokies, you're saying, how does that shot not count? Everyone was playing, and
yeah, I mean, listen, we're trying to call it even both ways, but if I'm
this
a
would be a
Hokie,
very tough break for Virginia Tech.
Wait a minute.
And Coach Skyra looks pretty upset there on the sideline.
She has a right to be. I mean, they inadvertently, they could argue that there was 3 seconds on the clock, right? They made it 1 second, right? And then she took a shot that actually went in.
And we've got an officials review here. But yeah, this would be a very tough break for Virginia Tech. Down 4, they need every advantage they can get. And if...
But my point is, if they call a foul, right, and say there's 0.5 seconds on it, right, at the end of the game, they can't say that they have to let the ball leave your stick
before the clock starts.
But right, and then at that point where that's the last play of the game.
Right.
They unless they're claiming that the ball needs to cross the plane at before needs to cross the plane before the clock runs out. I've never heard of that. I've seen a ton of women's games and coached them too. But if you get down to the end of a game, then you're allowed to take that shot.
And it would be especially tough if it came down to a clock operator error that essentially takes a goal away from you as well.
Well, that's the thing. I don't even know if it should have been at 1. It's set at 1.
Right. And so the officials have come together now. They've still got the ball placed where that last free position play took place. They haven't put a goal officially up. So it looks like we've got a decision. Coach Myers didn't look too upset at the call there. Coach Skyra was upset at that last call. She came way out onto the field, as you saw there, coming off the sideline there. And her assistant breaking the news to her here, it looks like. But not sure. It looks like the Hokies may be headed back to that free position play here on the left wing. Tyson walking back, ball still set, so apparently that shot will not count by Virginia Tech.
I just don't know how they are able to discern right now with the speed of the shot and ball crossing the plane. By the time it leaves your stick, they're going to repeat the same thing.
So Tyson, another shot up. This one's saved, and that's a tough break for Virginia Tech.
Yeah, I think that was a really bad call by the refs. Have to say.
Virginia looking to clear all the way now. Hoeg off to Clark to McGovern, back to Schwab, and a whistle to stop the play. And looks like McGovern's going to get an opportunity here from the left side. 5:19 to go. Virginia Tech really needs every goal they can get. They had one wiped off the board there. And now Ashlyn McGovern, one of the best goal scorers in the country, with a free position play. Her right-hand shot is wide, but Virginia is there for the backup with Miller. Now Morgan Schwab has it. And with about 5 minutes to go, we'll see Virginia probably content to kill some time here. Up by 4 goals. Rachel Clark back to Schwab behind the net. Over to Miller, this time with 50 on the shot clock here. Under 5 to go now. Virginia with a 4-goal advantage. Kiki Shaw, we've seen her score once in this position. Fakes one way, goes the other. Good defense by Virginia Tech, though.
Yeah, So, you know, I think that last play really put the punctuation mark on it for Virginia Tech at this point, because they really needed that score. The math is going to start to work against them right now in terms of the time, the shot clock.
Biscuit pass to works it back out. Now Clark, left-hand pass across to Hoeg. Into Miller. Virginia with 14 to Biscup, who scores with the left hand. And that feels like a dagger against the Hokies here. Virginia will go back up by 5. It's 14-9. Cavaliers with 4:12 to go. Jamie Biscup scores once again. That was just a really good disciplined possession. They knew that you know, coming off of that call down there, if they score here, it's a real backbreaker. It's a dagger. They waited and they got the right shot at the right time. Here they moved it around, and then she just comes, sees her player, and you know, I don't even know if the Virginia Tech was sloughing off there. They got double coverage. They had literally 3 players in that zone, but she made a really perfectly placed shot past Torres. And you know, I think that really helps for if you're the Cavs to cap it off. 3 goals, 1 assist, 4 points tonight for Jamie Biscup. So she shows up in the final game of the regular season for her club, and now Virginia with a 5-goal lead. Virginia Tech gonna have to start really bringing it if they want to get back into this one. But Virginia wins the draw, and that will help a lot for Virginia's chances. Mackenzie Hoeg's got it back to Shaw. Over to McGovern, who, as we've said, has just been very quiet tonight, but her team not suffering for it. No goals or assists for McGovern, but a lot of her teammates picking up the slack.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's you know, she's such a great scorer. I just think in situations like that, there are some nights when you're going to have a lot of players on you, and the other folks are going to have those opportunities and to capitalize. And these are all the best players in the country. You know, they were all the best players in their high school, you know, and in their state and all of those things. So it allows other players to step up, and they're going to perform. You know, this is what they've been training to do since they were little kids.
Now Biscup going for it again. And so that goes behind the net. Miller retains possession. They do reset the shot clock, though, and that benefits Virginia. McGovern out beyond the arc now to Shaw. And over now to Miller. She's got a goal tonight. Probes that defense before backing it back out to Biscup behind the net. Schwab once again. Schwab, a multi-assist game tonight for Virginia. Tries to go one-on-one here before pulling it back out. And now they try to get it inside to McGovern, but that pass is knocked away. Virginia ends up with a ground ball before eventually Virginia Tech reclaims it there. Good defense by the Hokies. And we've got an update now on Boston College and Syracuse, a tight game. The #1 ranked team in the country, the Syracuse Orange, with a 15-12 lead in the 4th quarter. I just got word that BC just scored as well. So a 2-goal game in Syracuse for the #1 seed in the ACC tournament. As we get back to the action now with 2 minutes to go. Virginia Tech in desperation mode.
Yeah, you know, for me, looking back at this game, I'll say it again. I think that the difference was you had younger players on Virginia Tech. Beautiful goal. Probably not enough what they need at this point. But you had younger players at Virginia Tech making fouls, and penalties that put them in the box. And you can't do that against UVA. You just can't. So that's a lesson learned. But you know, this Virginia Tech team is mostly freshmen and sophomore. Here's an interesting thing. Kristen Skyra came here, this is her 2nd year. She didn't recruit any of these players. Her first recruiting class is coming in next year. Wow. So if you can imagine that, you know, her first year she won 2 ACC games, Notre Dame and 2 high-profile games, Notre Dame and JMU. And after taking over a program. Now, I believe Vergano came with her after being recruited at Army. But there's so much great, you know, future written for Virginia Tech coming up that it's really, you know, it's going to be really fun to watch, really, you know, as she builds this program. And, you know, like I said, Virginia, you can't make those mistakes against the Cavaliers. They will just eat you up.
So Paige Tyson scored that last goal for the Hokies, and Rachel Clark's going to pick up the ground ball, but loses her footing there and loses the ball. And so Virginia Tech wins possession. If they're going to make the run, they need the ball, so a good win there. Paige Tyson had that goal wiped off the board on that free position play, so she does end up with one tonight, even though she probably feels like she had two, but a turnover there. McGovern picks it up. That might just about do it here as the shot clock is turned off, and Virginia can just about run out the clock here.
Yeah, a really valiant effort by Virginia Tech. Great first half. I think that you saw the poise, and athleticism of this, you know, older, more veteran team at UVA, and they really, that came across in the third quarter. Those penalties happened, and then they took advantage of them. You know, they could have wasted them. They didn't. They used that to make up a five or six goal run, and I think that's sort of the storyline of this, the arc of the story of this game here.
And if you're looking for some action to catch up on after this, BC has made it a one-score game, 15-14 on ACC Network. Virginia with the exclamation point there and a final goal. Looks like they're going to end tonight's contest with a 5-goal advantage over their arch rivals. Some relieved fans, it looks like there.
Yeah, that was, you know, that was just another really nice shot. Great placement. You know, I've been talking about Jocelyn Torres being a great goalie, but you know what? Rachel Clark is an even better shooter in this case, and you know, she's one of the best players in the country, and she's a sophomore. So really hard to save, to make saves when it's in the upper corner. You know,
5 goals tonight for Clark.
Yeah,
57 on the season, and now with 34 seconds remaining.
Oh, she's super driven. I love watching her play. She wills, a lot of times she wills the ball where she wants it to. You know, just sheer athleticism and will. She's going to be an all-time great player at Virginia and in the ACC and nationally.
ACC Freshman of the Year last year, and a pretty good encore performance for her second year in a Cavalier uniform. As the final draw here likely between Williams and Vergano. Up in the air, ground ball, players waiting for it, scooped up by the Hokies. They're going to keep trying here, though, as they look to get it up into their offensive zone. And sprinting up ahead now are the Hokies. They get it across.
Yeah, and you know, they have a lot of lacrosse still in front of them. They've got the ACC tournament. They can do some real damage there, possibly win it, you know, and then after that they've got, you know, the NCAAs. It depends, you know, for the Hokies, they have to basically win the ACC tournament in order to make it in the NCAAs. And I don't know if that'll even be enough, but.
Virginia comes away with a 5-goal victory in their final game of the regular season. And how about this? They cap off an undefeated season here at Klockner Stadium, 6-0. David, you were mentioning it. You look at the scoring breakdown by quarter, and that third quarter is really where Virginia took control.
They did. It's a mature team that was given an opportunity on a platter by a couple of 3 penalties, and at that point, you know, then it led to even more scoring. Your defense starts to get rattled, and before you know it, you know, and I saw very few turnovers that were costly. I guess that's what I was saying before. Very few costly turnovers by Virginia, and you know, and you know, these are 2 teams that had a lot on the line. The more seasoned team won, but Virginia Tech will be back.
That'll do it for us. For David Keefe, I'm Adam Hawes saying so long from Klockner Stadium in Charlottesville, Virginia, with the win here, 15-10 over Virginia Tech. To watch this entire game on replay, as well as other games on ACC Network, download the ESPN app. And good night from Charlottesville.